Again, the issue of public or preventive medicine, maybe there we can play a crucial role, and especially due to the re-emergence of those neglected tropical diseases that are coming up, like chikungunya, dengue fever, maybe due to climate change. You probably can shed some light on that. And finally, you've mentioned about the 4.2 billion that is available now for research, and you've challenged us to find a share or our position, how we can also participate in that. Probably you can help us understand or get some insight. We may need your team to help us in training institutional staff or even individuals who are here on projects funding so that we can be able to participate in that share. Thank you very much.
Yes, again, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, thank you. Very, very powerful, very, very important. Yeah, how vulnerable are we in terms of these weapons, sometimes of mass destruction? I would say we are extremely vulnerable because our systems are completely down. It's like we were not aware. You know, before in the past, this was not a big issue. It is the COVID-19 pandemic which has brought this issue on board. And I wouldn't want to be fully quoted, but there have been some important circles in our countries that a vaccine like AstraZeneca would have been developed in Kenya by our researchers. And then it went somewhere, and then they launched. That is not a health risk, but an economic risk, what we call economic sabotage. In the old days, or even now, in some circles, economic sabotage is classified as treason, and treason, you know the consequences of treason. Because when you economically sabotage your people, you are denying the 56 million Kenyans food. You can see the difficulty we are going through when somebody has either knowingly or unknowingly mortgaged our outcomes outside. So we are vulnerable in terms of releasing information. There is one or two of our research institutions, I won't mention again them, those are institutions. Ask them, they will ask before independence and ask them, how many partners do you have? And some of us almost collapsed when it's like we're having zero. We went to their centers. There are very many centers in the country, powerful centers. The work you do is game-changing. In fact, to me, if they are really fully empowered with money, they can help us completely alleviate poverty. But of course, because as a people, I would say as a people collectively, we didn't focus on them. They got support from outside, and therefore whoever pays you calls the shots. So these people are paying money for the work they're doing and taking all the knowledge. Again, that is illegal. That's no excuse. The fact that we have not received funds from NRF for the government is not an excuse to receive funds from a foreigner and give our birthright, because that's what we're doing. Typically, you know what, is it a sow? Yeah, what Esau did with his brother. Yeah, so we went to their centers and we're asking center bosses. After display, after we go to the field, how many partners do you have? And it's like they're shocked. Zero. You go to another one, how many? Zero. But they go to Nairobi show and other shows and they win an award. So it's an emergency now, by the way. I can tell you that institution is an emergency scenario because they have to internally address themselves before they explain themselves out. And that is before COVID. It's like nobody was taking keen into that. So that is how vulnerable we are. And they are top institutions. And I'm sure even you, if you are funded from outside, the chances could be very high that you have never thought of even royalties for your research. For the stuff. So that if a foreigner comes and fund, then from the world go, you need to agree on royalties for the institution. They might own it because they have the money, but they can fully own it or jointly own it. But what is the share for the Kiambu Polytechnic? And beyond the Polytechnic management, what is the share for the staff? Because that's the weak point that we have. You want this, any research that is done in an institution is owned by an institution. That's the law, international law. But there's a very important point that is missed out, even I'm a staff of JQuat, which was missed out. That me as a researcher, as an innovator, nobody gives me the right. We are told, hii kazi ulifanyia kwa institution. So that removes the morale from the researchers. So we are very vulnerable. In terms of these weapons, like the anthrax that was used, a security assessment that was done, I think, some years back, when Dr. Matiang'i was the Minister for National Security, showed that we are very, very vulnerable. And that's why there's a team from the Ministry of Interior. I don't know whether, did you get our invitation for training module 1 on STI? Did you get did you get that invitation, CEO? Or the STI focal point? We sent to STI focal points invitation for training in Naivasha last week. 5-day training.
No, we didn't.
You didn't? Did you, please?
No, we didn't.
Ah! It was sent to the CEO and to the STI focal point. And it was for 3 days, was presented by the team from the Ministry of Interior. And you can inquire because I saw some TTCs, you can inquire the value that they got from that training. So feel free, we are now, because it might be a mandatory training on what you're calling the security and integrity, we might ask institutions to
Hello. We can't get you now. I think there is a technical problem.
We are an area of great interest. So on that topic, I can talk the whole day because the matter that affects our life. So, but you can do it now. On number 2, on you are saying you're not on medical, but there are this neglected tropical diseases. I would really want to have a debate on how we can formalize the use of indigenous technologies and the herbal medicine. And I'd want, this is another very passionate conversation, that when traditional healers come on board, they are told to take their samples to one of the research institutes for validation. And in the process, they claim that their patents are taken, they are not taken away from them, or they never get the outcome. In China, there is a level 3 policy which allows recognized and identified traditional medicine to be administered the way they are. What you and me need to watch for is that level 3 policy. It's a big business in China, it's a big business in Germany, where like you might go to a community, like now in Kiambu, you must be having, is it called Mwarobaini or Moringa or whatever, which we know how it works. Yes, from the traditional elders. All we need is to gather those elders and the community to say that we are sure if I drink 1 sufuria of this herbal drink, my headache will disappear. You don't take it to Kemri, you don't take it to anywhere else. The Chinese have that. When we tried that with some of our scientists at Kemri, we got a lot of resistance. Because people want to remain in that elite, it affects their business, but we can still have the level 1 medicine business go on well with the pharmaceuticals, but there's a level 3 where we just use for traditional medicine. Like Morobaini, we know what it does. But here we need now those herbalists themselves, well known, where our community, the chief, who has a history, they say, we know so and so and so are our healers. Like in Kisi, they're very good at that. And they give us a dose that this one you need to swallow several sufurias before you get healed. And it becomes a prescription. So that when you go to an hospital, yes, you are told that there's level 1 medicine, do you want it or do you want level 2? That is for certain diseases. So when you talk about these tropical diseases, if we go the other route of wanting to make them the very formal, advanced capsules, there's always a challenge because you need donor funding. But if we went the indigenous way, we might have found solutions because in the COVID, many people say, including myself, by the way, I use some herbs and I travel a lot. And I'm one of them, even my staff says, I was fortunate enough never to be affected by the COVID, but I traveled very many countries during that season because I was traveling with a herb, which I picked at it's called what? Kijabe here. There's a tree which smells very nice. So I would put it in my pocket, mitishamba, boil it or chew it, and I will never get homa. It works. I believe it works. And if a top professor told me it doesn't work, we will disagree. And lastly, share of the NRF funds. 2% of GDP is a lot of money. It's in the Act. It is not 4 billion, it's around 400 billion. You can't even absorb it. But there's a little that is given. Yes, before it was coming as a call. There'll be a call out, a call based on the advice that we'll have a call for locusts. You had a call for the pandemic. You had a call for the pandemic. So that's competition. The best way to win or to be